I was wondering if you could tell us in general terms who are some of the kind of people that hire PIs besides this personal injury case. Are there do prosecutors, or do you ever get cold cases, or do law firms?
Well, generally speaking,
domestic disputes and stuff.
Sure. The question is who generally speaking hires the PI, and it's, you know, in many of the books and movies you see the damsel in distress, the dame with the broken heel, you know, walking into the PI's office, and that rarely happens in real life. You put your business card up on cork boards and laundromats and things, and once in a while somebody calls you. But usually it's a law firm hiring you. The woman who thinks her husband is cheating doesn't hire you. Her divorce attorney hires you. Insurance companies. When I was in New Orleans particularly, there's a great deal of insurance fraud down there. A lot of workman's comp fraud, people working on oil rigs and so on down there. And so insurance companies, for a single operator, a lot of times you get overflow work from other PI firms. The bigger firms will contract out overflow work, which is how I got a lot of my work. That, law firms, and insurance companies. And it's funny because sometimes the client doesn't make it easy for you. There was a case where it was in fact a divorce case where the husband he had a mistress and he was actually draining they had a bank account for their son to go to university. The son was 15 at the time, and they had this university fund, and it was getting smaller, and he was spending it on a woman he was seeing. But his wife, after having her attorney hired us, and then she says to her husband in the middle of an argument, "Oh yeah, well I put a private investigator on your ass and you're going to be in big trouble." Well, that's not really very helpful when we're trying to follow the guy around. But yeah, it can come from anywhere, but usually it's going to be a law firm or an insurance company.
Any other questions right now? Sort of to that end, I have a list of 10 reasons that I found on the internet that you might want to hire a private investigator.
Oh.
It's not a top 10.
Okay.
Apparently it's just some reasons that you may not expect. To research your genealogy.
Okay. I've never heard that.
To serve court papers.
Oh yeah. Serving subpoenas is one of the big jobs you do. It's bread and butter work. You do it all the time.
To repair identity theft.
Yes, that was not such a... Identity theft was a much smaller issue when I was doing it. This is before the internet and before so much of our personal information was accessible. So when I did the job. So there wasn't a lot of identity theft then, but yes, that would...
You would hire a PI now. You would hire a PI now to do that.
You could, certainly.
To find old friends.
Just go on Facebook. They'll find you.
To find a lost pet.
Wow. Yeah, call Ace Ventura for that.
Apparently there are people that specialize in this.
Yeah.
To check who owns that phone number. Somebody's been calling you. You back check it based on the number.
Yeah, sure. You could, but I mean, you could find it out without hiring a PI. That's pretty easy.
To research financial assets before a lawsuit.
Yes, all the time. And in fact, one of the other things is that sometimes we would get hired by an attorney to investigate their own potential client. Somebody goes to hire an attorney, especially in the case of they want to sue somebody and it's a trial lawyer. They want to sue somebody they claim to have been injured or whatever. And that lawyer, of course, doesn't believe them. Why should they? They hire Private Eye to investigate their own potential client because if they take the case, they're taking it on commission, right? They're not going to get anything unless they win a lawsuit or a settlement.
That leads right into number 3, to ascertain the suitability of business partners.
Yes. Yeah, that's a common.
If you're going to get in bed with somebody, you want to know who they are.
Absolutely.
No matter what they claim.
Yes. Yeah, and they're usually lying about something.
To double check your nanny's background.
Yeah, that seems reasonable to me.
You'd want to...
I don't have a nanny, but if I had one, I would double check her background.
And the last one here is to verify that special someone's story is true before going to the next level.
That special someone. Yeah, nowadays, especially in the days now of online dating, so many people meet their paramour online, and that story that they've been told is not necessarily true. It may be mostly true, but one of the disheartening things that you learn working as a PI is that everybody's lying, and even your client lies to you when they hire you. You know, they even, you know, they're hiring you. You're, in order to help them, should get the whole story, right? You'd think, but they will lie invariably. They will lie or commit lies by omission about something. They think it's not important. They think that particular point isn't important for you to know, and it casts them in a bad light, so they don't want you to know, so they'll lie about it. But whoever they're going up against, if it's a lawsuit, is going to have somebody on their side investigating the situation too. Witnesses, you know, accident witnesses, that you go out and take witness statements from people, and they'll tell you the truth about what they saw. They witnessed an accident, they'll tell you the exact truth, but they'll lie about why they were on that street corner at that time, or how many drinks they had at lunch, or any number of things that they just don't want other people in their lives to know. And so you end up having to investigate, and beyond what people are telling you, everything that somebody tells you, you have to assume there's a lie in it somewhere. And sadly, most of the time that's true.
Has that affected your ability to trust other people, or is it just clients?
No, it's not just clients. No, I found, well, one of the things that Hammett did, which I'll talk a little bit about later, his granddaughter said he brought the detective's code to Sam Spade and to this book, and part of that code is keeping an emotional wall between yourself and your client and your work. And you see this with, as I said, with cops, with all sorts of people who work with people who are, you know, in a bad place in their lives, because it can be emotionally wrenching if you let yourself get involved. The problem for me is I found that putting up that wall, while it's effective, I would put it up for my entire life, not just for work. It would just, once you get it up, it's kind of hard to selectively bring it down. And I really wasn't suited for that job. I'm glad I did it. I enjoyed the years doing it. Enjoyed is maybe not the right word. I learned a hell of a lot, and I'm glad I did it. But I would not want to have kept doing it for the rest of my life. And I think that part of what I brought to Ray Dudgeon in his psychological damage, the way he has trouble relating to people, is what I imagined that I might have become had I stayed in it too long.
So even that is you. It's just you projected.
Well, yeah, and extreme. I mean, he had a very difficult childhood, which I didn't have.